I could see you running for public office.
Yeah. Would you ever do that?
That'd be really cool.
Maybe. I live like a...
That was a thought.
Ooh,
That was
can I be a campaign manager?
No, I seriously have thought about it before. I oftentimes I'm queer and trans, and I'm I don't know if the world is ready for that yet.
Yeah, but forget that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is actually my campaign launch video.
I knew it.
Can you imagine right here on the Tilt
breaking news?
I'm running for president.
Move aside.
Warren's great, but yeah, maybe.
So yesterday we went to a Bernie Sanders rally in Springfield, Massachusetts. We came away with some interesting conclusions from Bernie's event.
A new poll shows Sanders leading Warren in Massachusetts by 8 points, with mayors Pete Buttigieg and Mike Bloomberg trailing not too far behind.
So we wanted to see if Elizabeth's canvassing event was similar, whether it was different, what the people were like, what their mood was. So we went and checked that out this morning. It was just a really sweet, warm environment. They had Rice Krispie treats, they had donuts. The mood was very friendship-giving. It was really cool. They had 2 high schoolers leading that office in terms of explaining to people what they were going to be doing canvassing, full-on gave all of the instructions, which was really cool to see.
You're talking to somebody at the door might be the last thing they remember as they walk into that ballot box on Tuesday, and so that's why we are out here today. Every single one of you is out here today because something about Elizabeth made you willing to brave the cold and walk into an office you possibly have never seen before on a Saturday morning. That is what we need to tell the voters because that's what's going to stick with them, more than little teeny details about all of her incredible plans. Sometimes that does, but generally they're going to remember that face-to-face personal connection.
It was an important guy with a suit and a pen.
We're from Massachusetts. Wouldn't it be nice to have a president of the United States from Massachusetts? Boy, we need to elevate our politics. Because I want these young people who are here today to stay interested. I want them to think that being involved in politics is something honorable. It is about caring about this country. It is about lifting people out of difficult situations.
So yeah, it was really interesting. We talked to some of the volunteers.
I find that this is my way of doing it. If I can go out and canvass, and last time I was out canvassing, I was talking to someone who hadn't really made up their mind. They didn't know if they were going to vote, and I talked with them for a couple of minutes. Mm-hmm. So if I can get one person to go to the polls that wouldn't normally, then that's almost fulfilling my vote.
Yeah.
And then if I can get more people on top of that, that would be awesome.
So are these the packets that people are gonna give out when they knock on those doors?
Yeah.
And who are they knocking on doors for?
My favorite girl, Elizabeth Warren. She was talking at, I think in Springfield, and then and I told her I loved her because I think she's a good asset for our community and for healthcare, people who are LGBT, people cut back on college.
There was this family that wanted to talk to her specifically about policies about Tibet and China's interference with Tibet and that sort of thing, and that was really interesting to hear their very specific concerns.
There is a Tibet Policy Support Act bill that House passed that is going to be now in the Senate. It's called the Tibet Policy and Support Act. Okay. And so we wanted to make sure that we request Senator Warren to support this bill in the Senate.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Go Warren!
We are near Deerfield, Massachusetts. We went to an Elizabeth Warren canvassing event this morning, and now we're just out and about trying to get a feel for what everybody is feeling. We figured a lot of people would be hit up by canvassers, so we're looking to hit on those same doors and see how people are feeling about the election and what they think is going to happen. Here we go.
I would rather not be interviewed.
Okay, no worries at all.
No, I'm Canadian, so I don't vote.
It's okay. It's okay. No worries.
So, knocked on a lot of doors. We've been in like 3 different neighborhoods. We haven't had anyone slam a door in our face by any means, but a lot of no's.
My son is making a mess.
This is great. This is fun.
So when you look ahead for the next year and thinking about the community that you have here, what kind of issues are top of mind for you in terms of things that you want to see addressed by, whether it be the presidential candidates, the people in power, that kind of thing?
For me, I like to have the more for women. There's that, and also diversity for all the kind of races.
Yeah.
You know, for me, I don't have a problem whether you're gay, you're black, your nationality is different. As long as we are addressed for that fact that we are all equal, we have to be deserved to be treated right.
Yeah.
Because I come from other country. I'm also before I become citizen, I'm an immigrant. But it feels like the people here, they don't treat me like I'm nobody. They are very nice. They all have that kind of compassion to each one of us.
Yeah.
I'm a single mom, and of course I have a lower income, but I still because of in America you had to be more independent. So I learned to be independent here in America, but it's just a matter of how you survive.
Yeah.
You know, my son had ADHD, so he had an asthma. So the Massachusetts really been kind because of he had all this medicine. Sometimes there's always slow, process.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to giving them, like calling, John Henry, slow down. He just needs some attention.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm saying is that this is a good area.
Yeah.
I don't have problems. Whether you're rich, you're poor, you have all the needs to be treated, like for health care.
Yeah.
For good retirement, good education. Because I work in the nursing home, I feel for those people who have no insurance at all, they're not being taken care of right because their insurance and the hours are limited. So I feel, even though they're not my blood, you know, and I feel also for the people the students striving for loans and have it paid back even though they already professional. So I don't know what's going on, but I hope that there's a change for that. You know, there's kind of systems like, I know there's a lot of rich people, there's a lot of low income and middle class, but if America is willing to help each other, I think this country is great.
Yeah.
There's no more competitions, no kind of, hey, like, because you're American, I only help American.
Right.
You're Spanish, I only help Spanish. But if that government is gonna be implied, if that's funded is for the people, use it for everybody. But if there's compassion and humanity and have that kind of vocation that we're willing to help no matter where you came from, and we're gonna learn to communicate, I think there's a better understanding. Yeah.
I'll just try to entertain them, okay?
Okay.
Hi.
Yeah.
I can play with it.
Yeah, he had some. So it's his time.
You're
like a little
Thanks.
Bye, John.
Bye. Come on, love.
Together all that.
Yeah, I got it.
Bye.
Yeah. So which side were you fighting for today?
We're English.
Of course. Yeah.
I don't care who's in office. You can't forget history.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing new that happened. You know, people have always had issues, and there are reasons why people don't get along. And I think it's instructful to look back and see things. One thing depends on another.
Yeah, exactly.
The only thing is you can't go to a movie with one of us that's historically based.
I'm sure that's quite an experience.
Cannot do that.
A lot of talking in the theater for those
Well,
days.
it's like they got the clothes wrong. I think
Yeah.
this is wrong. I got that wrong.
Yeah.
So That's the only thing you can't do.
Okay.
So we were interpreting the 1704 raid on Deerfield, where 20 Deerfield residents were killed with 3 militiamen and 112 Deerfield residents were taken captive to Quebec. It's a very historical moment for the town of Deerfield. I am a recognized descendant of the Pocomoke Indian Nation of Maryland. I am of Accomack descent, and I am a enrolled tribal member with Schaghticoke First Nations out of Dutchess County, New York.
I have Mohawk and Onondaga bloodline from my mother's side, and that's about all I have. I mean, I don't have enough to be recognized into anything, but I take a lot of pride in what I do, and the reenacting are kind of dying out because it's not, it doesn't fit into society anymore, really.
The historical reenactment.
Yeah, we're living in times where history's under attack, and people want to change history, and you can't. You got to accept it for all it is, for the beauty, for the ugly, for the nice, and for the mean. You have to take it all in and learn from it.
Yeah. So talk to me a little bit about that in terms of history being under attack. What's an example?
So taking down Confederate statues. How are you to learn of oppression, and how are you to learn what is right and what is wrong if it's not there? The absence, to decide to take down a marker, is far beyond people's hurt feelings. To have a marker there, is a sign you can point to and saying, this is a part of our history and a part of our past, but we are a part of that future. And it's too simplistic to just take a monument away, or to say, well, this offends me, but to not learn why this happened or why it occurs. I can't tell you how many times I've seen people say, oh, well, why do you paint the way you do? Why do you do this? Is this, are you doing this, or is this a way, dealing with cultural appropriation? And it's like, no, not at all. This is my culture. This is what it's about, and this is our history, and I'm proud of it. And people say, oh, well, aren't you stuck in the past? I know you've probably gotten that too.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I enjoy my history. I enjoy my family history, and I take pride when my ancestors were strong, and I draw that from that strength that they had.
In terms of looking ahead to 2020, what do you think are the most important issues to you, to this community? What do you want to see people address?
I think that healthcare, for everyone, and the environment are probably the biggest issues.
Yeah.
And then I would like more protection for immigrants, because I don't really agree with the policies we have right now, and stricter gun laws.
Yeah, gotcha. And when you look at the candidates, is there a certain one that you in particular think has the chance to make it to past the Democratic primaries that you think will come out on top?
I mean, I think Bernie Sanders,
Yeah.
he's kind of divisive, but he knows where he's standing, and I think the only thing that might hold him back is his age, but he's proved that he can do whatever it takes, and I think he is a really strong, and he stands by what he's done.
Yeah. Do you have a preference yourself on who you'd want to see be in the White House this time next year?
Bernie Sanders.
Bernie. Okay. Awesome. Very cool. That's all we really need.
Okay.
So I was born in Albuquerque, which is like
High School Musical.
I thought you were gonna be like, I'm from Albuquerque.
It was set in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Yeah, I've never seen it still.
And scene.
This is my best friend in the entire world, Lebaeu, and we know each other from Smith College, which you will be hearing a lot more about. We knew of each other the first 2 years of Smith, but didn't know each other or hadn't met officially. Then we studied abroad in Spain, and the rest is history.
We became best friends after 2 days.
Yes, we really did.
Yeah, and we have been inseparable ever since.
It's true.
It's true, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thanks.
It's true.
We're already crying.
So cheers to that, everybody.
Cheers. Cheers. Cheers.
Okay.
So I live in Boston, and our office is in Boston, and we work on a bunch of different environmental issues, but I'm drinking water, and so what I do is I work directly with communities that are environmental justice communities, so that means you have like a high population of people of color, people who are lower income, or who are language isolated. So they like are recent immigrants, don't speak English, and don't have access to like family members who can help them like translate government documents. And I help those communities convince their city leaders to replace their lead service lines for free. So lead service lines are the pipe that connects the main pipe of water on the street to the water in the house. So like what happened in Flint, Michigan is all of those pipes were lead, and then it poisoned the water supply when like it started corroding into the water. So I work to like help prevent that happening, and I work to get cities to pay for it, because it has often been the case that homeowners have to pay for it, which means that if you're a renter or you just like don't have like $3,000 to $7,000, like you're drinking lead in your water. So that's most of the work that I do.
Yeah.
But it was really interesting when I started this job. I got to like pick which towns I wanted to work with first.
Okay.
And so what I did was like I ordered all of these towns in an Excel spreadsheet based off of like race, income, class, race, income, and language isolation, and then took a second spreadsheet of towns with the highest number of lead service lines. And that list matched up almost exactly,
Really?
which was one of those, like, I wasn't surprised, but like seeing just like the numbers next to each other was like, yeah, really impactful. If you like take pretty much like any environmental issue, like it's statistically so much more likely that you'll be near pollution if you're like a person of color or a lower income and all of that.
When you're thinking about lead in water, what are the actual impacts of that on a person?
Totally. So they're the ones that we think about a lot for children, which is like kidney damage. It impacts IQ, an increased likelihood of ADHD, behavioral issues, high blood pressure. And then also for adults, it also increases aggression. And so one of the things I talk a lot about in terms of like this being a social justice issue is you have like Black and brown communities that are already like over policed with a like high incarceration level. And there's a possibility that like the water is actually contributing to behavioral issues that like put people into the criminal justice system. And then sort of by that same like token, it's interesting to me that one thing we tell like people of color and like people who are lower income a lot is like just go to school and get an education and like improve your life. But people's environments are like actually impacting their ability to like be cognitively able to do that.
So I think obviously we should definitely acknowledge the work that you're doing because it's just amazing and incredible, and a lot of people don't really know about this issue. So I guess my question is, are there any candidates currently that would support, you know, helping out this particular crisis and deem it as a priority for them? Or are they just sort of sweeping it under the rug?
Yeah, I mean, it was a huge thing in the Democratic debates in 2016. I remember like Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders both being like, really, like, we need to address this issue. I can't remember if there are any candidates currently who have a specific plan for lead in water. Elizabeth Warren wrote a really cool op-ed about a different chemical in water in New Hampshire and Massachusetts called PFAS chemicals, which is like another thing I work on.
That's really dark. Well, this is going to be a dark question too, but I don't know, maybe we could sort of come to some solution. What is the solution then? Like, how do we fix this issue? It just seems like we have all these chemicals, no one wants to do anything about it, you know, aside from you and your company and other activists. But what is the solution? What can we do to sort of help out?
The huge part of it is if people who are in charge know that people aren't keyed into this and like that this isn't a priority, it's really easy to just kind of like let stuff slide under the rug and not worry about it. So, I mean, you don't have to be like a 100% activist, like make this your life to make a huge difference just by paying attention to what activists are saying, and like make it a goal to show up to one thing in person a month and like sign one email petition. And like, if everyone did that, like honestly, the entire world would be different, I think.
Wow. So showing up, speaking up, and just holding, you know, these people accountable.
Absolutely.
I think we could all do that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, one of our phrases is like strength in numbers. It's all about people power, because we don't get to directly affect policy. It's the politicians that we choose. So the louder our voices and the more people there are behind it, the more likely it is that like we're going to be able to like make real change happen just as everyday humans.
Wow. You hear that? Speak up.
Yeah.
I don't even know how like people like, how do you get the word out? Like how, I mean, it's, of course it could start with each and every one of us, but it's like
on a massive scale.
Yeah, on a massive scale. Like how are people, like how are you going to widespread get people to know about these issues?
I mean, I also want to ask you guys that question too, because like we try to figure that all the time, and like we have email lists that, I mean, and I'm the same way. Like I like absolutely, I'm like, yeah, I'll sign that petition, and then like that goes straight into my spam folder. And I get it, like people are busy, but I think like actively seeking out those resources, like I said, even if it's once a month, so like follow Clean Water Action on Facebook, and follow like other environmental organizations on Facebook, and see what it is we're saying. And when somebody says, hey, like all you need to do is like call your senator, it takes 3 minutes, just like do that. And it's, you know, there are people like trying to get the word out, and also like I am legitimately curious, like what are ways that you are most likely to engage in like activism work? Like is it Instagram, is it Twitter, is it Facebook, like what?
Twitter for
Twitter?
sure.
Okay.
I think Twitter is such a powerful platform.
Yeah.
Especially if you can get a large group of people talking about it and you get it to just trend on a global scale. That's when you can really see change and that power happen. It's such a magical place, Twitter. Can be a little crazy at times, but it can also do some really awesome things.
No, that's good to know, because we like have a Twitter, but we don't do a lot with it. So we're like, I feel like nonprofits, we're always like 10 to 20 years behind. Like we're like, we got a Facebook.
I know, it's usually Facebook.
We don't do that. That's not helpful. Like
and like exploring Twitter, especially with the younger generation. And I feel like even, which is gonna sound really weird, like TikTok.
Yo, I've seen that. That's like
and talking about like the big issues, such as that, it would work really well, I think.
Yeah, for sure. And I know for our generation, like I see like memes all the time about how like the world is ending and we're all doomed. And like we all really feel that.
Yeah.
I talk to a lot of like people our age who are really stressed out about the environment, but feel like really helpless and like just like hopeless about the situation. So I try to really communicate to people, like when I speak in schools or when I speak to like random humans like this isn't that random, but you know, but like telling people like, no, like you really can make a difference. And I know that like there are so many things in the world that like try to convince us that we can't, but like people think that like big decisions are being made like in these like really like public ways, but the truth is they're being made not even behind closed doors. They're just being made in like empty rooms,
exactly, by individuals. It's like, it's crazy when you learn the system works like that.
Exactly. So it's like with like water or where to put like a new trash incinerator, it's not that you don't have a voice, it's that they're just like, people don't want you to know how much of a voice you have. So, you know, if like 50 people were at every Department of Environmental Protection meeting being like, no, this is actually really serious to me, like I really think everything would be different. And like there are so many decisions that impact people's lives for generations and the entire planet that just happen in these like empty rooms with open meetings, and like people know there aren't people to hold them accountable. Like yes, put your like learn about what like what departments like the EPA are doing so that you can like also hold them accountable if you don't think they're doing the right thing, but also like go out and vote, because like whoever the next president is going to be the person like putting people in charge of these departments that will like be making policy changes that are going to last the rest of our lifetime.
100%.
This is like I always say like, thanks for coming to my TED Talk when I like go on a rant, which I do often. So like, this is just like peak, like, thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
I could listen to Mario talk forever.
I know.
Right?
Yeah. No, truly.
No, that's not true.
I feel inspired.
I'm hopeful now.
I know, I feel like, which petition can I sign immediately?
Yeah, I respect that. Like, you are 100% the system, and you are dating someone who's like really into electoral politics.
I know. So right now we have the winner trending and different, you know, just a lot of things are trending currently. There's a lot of conversation happening. Who do you guys think won?
In the debate the other night, Joe Biden said, I will win South Carolina. And he's said before, like, if he doesn't, he would drop out.
Yeah, that's my prediction.
If you're saying it's a shocker, I'm gonna go with Tom Steyer.
What? No, that would be crazy. That is, come on.
He's put all of his money into South Carolina. If there's a time for him to win, it would be this state. Yes, because he's trying to take everybody from Joe Biden.
If Tom Steyer won South Carolina, I will eat
all of the pretzels.
This rug.
No, it was trending all day today
Tom Steyer,
because of the back that ass up. He was dancing on stage to back that ass up.
Oh, that's
that
fun.
rapper.
10% of delegates up until now had been decided.
Something like that, and then as of Tuesday, it's 40%.
We always do this where we freak out about the Iowa caucus, and then there's so much more left to do.
All right, so it's not Pete Buttigieg. It's not Elizabeth Warren. It's not Bernie Sanders. So now it's down between Tom and Joe.
Wait, and Amy.
And Bloomberg.
Amy's not even enlisted.
Oh, is Bloomberg listed?
No.
Good. Okay.
Oh,
It's between Tom and Joe.
Yeah.
It's Joe. It has to be Joe. Tom is like.
I bet you it's Tom.
No. What do you think?
Is it Tom?
It's Joe.
Oh!
With 0% reporting, they have called it to Joe already.
Wait, I'm sorry, what?
Wait, what?
0% reporting. It's trending.
So this is the exit polls?
Yeah.
Wait, they're supposed to have it at 7:30.
They're only counting exit polls.
Are they using that
0%
that they used in Iowa?
Wait, how can they?
Oh, that would
report
suck.
So
something
we're
that's
not sure.
That's what CNN called it, Fox called it. Yep. So with 0% reporting, Joe Biden has been legitimately declared the South Carolina winner. Big shock. It means he won in a blowout. Exit polls have a huge margin of error. So when a winner is declared based on them alone, it means Biden is so massively ahead that there's no question that he won.
Okay. In this trip, so we've been to Iowa. We're now in Massachusetts, going to Vermont in 2 days. I would say, if I had to guess for the four of us, knowing who we've talked to and what we've done, if I had to say, I think all of us would come away saying that we think Bernie's going to get the nomination. Is that right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. So, let's pretend a month from now when we're in April and we're doing Pennsylvania and whatever. What if we are in a massively different world where Joe is the front runner for the nomination? How does that feel? Does that feel realistic?
No, I don't. No, I think this is a one-off. Like he won South Carolina, and this will be like his little feather in his
It's like
cap.
his little victory.
I don't think he'll win the nomination.
feather in his cap.
Bernie still got the second.
Yeah, with 8%.
But not by a lot.
I don't think this is the start of a Joe landslide. Or I don't.
I want to put it.
He could do well in the Rust Belt states too.
Yeah, that's right. Wow.
So imagine if Amy dropped out. I mean, I guess that wouldn't make much of a difference.
No.
If Pete dropped out, though, it would.
He's not about to.
Oh,
he's
Pete's
gonna wide that.
He's gonna be
right
like,
I know.
he'll be there the whole time. Wow.
Wow. 55% of people who voted in South Carolina were black. 41% were white.
You're not
3% Hispanic.
I know.
0% Asian. 1% other.
Like she's in the same camp.
All right.
It was so
Thank you
nice
so much
to
for taking up your time.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Y'all's time is precious.
I love you.
Here, I'll yeah. It was so good to
so
meet
nice to
you.
meet you.
Thank you
Yeah.
for talking to us.
Nice
to
to meet you.
Yes.
Good luck with your
That's good.
Wait, what did you just say?
All right, y'all.
Do it again, the whole thing.
Billionaire Tom Steyer just quit. It's wild. So apparently after the South Carolina finish, he didn't do very well, but he was backing that ass up earlier on today.
Right.
But he just dropped out, and he made that announcement. So
Maybe he saw all the feedback he got from the backing that ass up thing, and he was like, you know what, this has been a bad idea from the start. let's just back it on up.
Curtains down, hanging up to dry. Pump the brakes. Poor guy.
Just curtains on that
I
one.
feel like he's probably a lot of fun, to be honest.
Do you, Aasha?
No.
I didn't think so.